It's one of my favorite stories, and you probably know it, but we'll do it together. There's the story about a man who is standing in a flood, and the water is sort of around his ankles, and the water keeps sort of rising up, and there is a boat that comes by and says, "Jump in. There's a flood, and we'll save you." And the man says, "No need to save me. God's going to save me." And the boat continues, and then the water sort of rises up to his waist, sort of up to his stomach, and there's another boat comes by and says, the flood is getting worse and worse, please jump into this boat. And the man says, "Don't worry, God's going to save me." And so the second boat leaves, and then the water's pretty much almost past his mouth. He's really on the verge of drowning, essentially, and a third boat comes by and says, "Jump in the boat, we're going to save you." And the man, barely breathing, says, "Don't worry, God's going to save me." The man dies, and he goes to heaven, and he sees God, and he says, well, "I thought you were going to save me." And God's response is, "I sent you 3 boats." Yes, you have. I tell that story like at least once a year, if not 3 times a year. Yes, it was my favorite stories because it lends itself to like 1,000 different points, like this one. This week's Torah portion is called Ki Tetzeh, which means when you go out. It's pretty much rules of engagement. When you go out into the universe, these are the things you have to take care of. When you go out. What's interesting is, by the way, the Israelites are nowhere. They're actually on the cusp of entering the promised land. They're standing in the sand, and they don't have anything. But it's the sort of blueprint that Moses is building in his 37-day-long speech in the book of Deuteronomy to tell them when they will have a land, this land of Israel, they will have to follow certain rules, and these are the rules that are in the Torah portion. And one rule is a very interesting rule, which you have probably also heard of. It comes in Deuteronomy, it's in chapter 22, and it says, when you build a new house, you must place a parapet or a guardrail around the roof. A parapet. You know what a parapet, you sort of get it? It's a little guardrail on the roof. Not a chia pet. Those are different. You can put those on your roof as well, but they will not help you in any way. Wish I had some, it'd be nice. But there's this guardrail, right, that the Torah portion actually says, if you're going to build a house, it's your responsibility to build this guardrail. That's what it says in the Hebrew, and in English translation it says, you should do it so that really no one falls off your roof. But if you look at the Hebrew very particularly, it doesn't say if someone falls off your roof. It actually says, Ki yipol hanofel, which means, really, literally, it means, should the one who falls fall. Pretty much, not if they fall, you should have this, but when the one who falls, pretty much saying they're going to falls, at least there is this guardrail that's around your roof. So the rabbis sort of say it's interesting, if you know the person's going to fall, why even put the guardrail up? Because if you know they're going to fall, it says so. It says in the text, when the falling person's going to fall. Guaranteed, essentially. So what's the point? Why should I even go out of my way to put up a little fence around my wall, around my roof, rather, if someone's going to fall anyway? So the commentary sort of says that because this person is maybe destined to fall. That's their destiny. Their destiny is to fall off the roof. So you put this parapet up there. And so if you're destined to fall, like we said, why build this rail at all? And so the rabbis say, this is not how we work. This is not how the Jewish people works. We don't say, he's going to fall, so let's not put up the guardrail. That's not how Jewish people work. It's going to happen anyway. Someone's going to fall, so why am I even put this up? That is not what the Torah portion is saying. The Torah portion is saying that we have a reliability. We can't have this reliability on God. We can't just say, you know what? Some magic net will fall from the sky and we'll catch this person as they fall off of our roof. That is not what the Torah portion is saying. It says, you, me, we have to be in partnership with God, and we have to not presume that it'll be okay if I don't put this guardrail up, essentially. There's a Yiddish proverb that actually says, the person destined to drown will drown even in a glass of water. Pretty much, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, but we can't just sit back and be like, I don't care. It's going to happen anyway. That is not how it works, and this is not what the Torah portion is talking about. Just because we may believe in destiny, we don't leave it to chance. And if you think about the Birkat Hamazon, which is the blessing after the meal, if you've ever done it before, if you've ever been to a Jewish summer camp or heard of Jewish summer camp or said the blessing after a meal because it's something that you do, and you glance out at what it says, God feeds all. So if we use the theory of God takes care of things for us, why do I have to do any work? Why do I have to do anything? Why can't I just sit on the floor and wait for food to fall from the sky? Because the blessing says God feeds all people. So, okay, I'll just sit here, I'll just go outside, I'll sit on the ground, and I will wait for something to fall from the sky for me to eat and drink. But that doesn't work that way, which is why we have to build the parapet. We have to build that guardrail. We can't just leave it to chance and decide, oh, we'll just wait. Like I said, we're partners with God. Our prayer book, the one that you have on your lap, has this beautiful sentence in it. It says, pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. And that's pretty much what the parapet is telling us. Whether or not the person's destined to fall or not fall, it's your destiny to do something or not do something, that's not how we operate. We can't say, oh, it's my destiny. We are partners in the system. We get to have a say in this. We get to decide, I'm going to put the rail up because I'm going to protect someone. I'm going to cover up the hole I dug because I'm going to make sure no one falls into it. I'm going to put a warning sign up somewhere so that no one slips, whether or not they will or they won't. It's our responsibility to take care of our surroundings and can't just decide, God might not want this person to fall today, so I'm not going to put this little gate around my roof. That is not how we do it. We are responsible for our neighbor. We are responsible for what happens to the people around us. Waiting for a miracle and relying on God doesn't work. It only works if we're in the partnership. It only works if we take the teachings, if we take the ideas, if we study them, if we know them, and then we practice them. Pray as if everything depended on God, which means pray really hard, connect really deeply, know the text, know about Judaism, but then act as if everything depended on you, not just sitting and waiting for the food to drop from the sky, even though we know God provides the food. That is not what the Jews do. We are active in this process. And so it makes complete sense for us to think of then that phrase, ki yipol hanofel. When the person who's going to fall falls, we'll be ready. We will already know, and we will already take care of that person who might fall because we will have that parapet. We will have the 74 commandments that are in this week's Torah portion. There are how many commandments in Judaism in total? How many? 613. 74 of the 613 are in this week's Torah portion. That's what percentage? By the way, I asked this to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders on Sunday, and someone in 10 seconds knew the answer. So what's 74 out of 613? About 12 something percent. Yes, good. Okay, good. Excellent. So that show, like, are you smarter than a 2nd grader or a 5th grader or whatever? Yeah, I don't know, because they were lightning fast on this. But that's our job. And so it's about being proactive and not reactive. It's about building the guard wall, and mostly it's about not letting that boat that we're relying on, oh, God's going to save me, pass us. Because we have to notice the boat, we have to turn towards the boat, we have to realize it's a boat, and then we have to get on the boat. You can't just be like, oh, God will save me. Oh, God will feed me. Oh, God will... No. Yes, we have that faith and that belief, but then we have to get up and do something. And so on this Shabbat, I wish all of us this building of our gate, whatever it is, maybe not the physical one around the roof, but this protective concept that we have as Jews, and mostly, I hope all of us notice the boats. Shabbat Shalom.